We are here for the How to Build a $10 Million Insurance Agency Step-by-Step Workbook and Task Checklist Training. Guys, the reason why I'm doing this is because there's so much misconception about what it takes to build a $10 million agency. So we want to make sure that we're really explaining what it takes, what you need to do to build your agency. You see, I used to believe that all an insurance agent needed and wanted was the theory of what it took to grow an insurance agency and the instructions to implement the processes, and they would just jump all over it. You explained it to them and life was all good. They were just out there setting the world on fire. After years of helping to grow my partner agencies, my own agencies, and working with various insurance agents and carriers, experience and wisdom has taught me that the best thing I can do to help an insurance agency is to give them a step-by-step checklist of tasks to accomplish. Because while I think we have the best of intentions, the day gets away from us, the week gets away from us, sometimes the month gets away from us, and we don't do what we're supposed to do. So first I want to start with what will stop you from being a $10 million insurance agency. You know, I was always taught growing up, my dad was military, I was military, I was always taught growing up that everything ran by facts, F-A-C-T-S, facts, goals, obstacles, and solutions. So once you knew the facts, then you established your goals based on the facts. Then once you understood your goals, then you sought out the obstacles, or you tried to eliminate the obstacles to your goals. And then from there, you came up with the solutions to those obstacles. We know what our goals are. Our goals are to get to a $10 million agency. Why 10 million? Because that usually is going to put you somewhere around that $1 million a year mark in income, and that's a pretty comfortable living. So 10 million is always our goal there. Well, first of all, we got to figure out what's stopping us. What's stopping us? You don't sell products and services that will allow you to generate 10 million in sales. I've talked to agencies, they go, yeah, I want to be a $10 million agency, and they sell a $125 renter's policy. And by the time we figure out how many that takes, it's impossible. Second of all, your carriers will not allow you to sell enough insurance products to grow to $10 million. For my captive agents, you have to be really, really serious and really realistic a lot of times about how far you can grow. Most captive carriers, they don't want more than 15% of the market share in any one geographic area. So the only way that you're going to get to 10 million is you have to acquire other books of business, which means your system, your agency has to be able to roll those books into your current systems. Now, some agencies have done this really well. They've bought 4 or 5 different books and they've rolled them in and they've grown and, you know, they've maintained. And then some agencies, it's almost like every time you buy a new book, you just brought on a whole new child because you weren't prepared. You didn't have any hand-me-down clothes. You didn't have any Pampers. You didn't have formula. You didn't have anything to prepare for this new child. So we have to make sure that your processes, your tasks, your checklists, your staff, everything that you do is designed to allow you to roll a new book into your existing book. That means you have to have consistent agency automation, marketing campaigns, and customer service processes. So lack of consistent agency automation, marketing campaigns, and customer service processes can stop you from being a $10 million agency. Let's be honest, organically growing to 10 million is usually unrealistic. That's why there's such a big M&A or mergers and acquisition spell that's going on in our industry right now. There's a lot of outside money. There's a lot of VC, investors that are moving into our space because they don't want to create it. They don't want to grow it organically. It's much cheaper just to buy it. Same thing with you guys. But my job is to teach you how to have your processes, how to have your functions set up so that you can roll another book of business into your business and continue to grow. In order to grow to a $10 million agency, you have to average $2 million per year. That means that it's going to require $38,462 a week for you to make that $10 million. Take whatever your current primary policies are, auto, home, whatever that is. Divide the average premium that the person pays or that you take in the agency. Divide that into the 38,462. That will tell you how many weekly items you need. So in this case, we used homeowners. And our weekly homeowners, in order for us to make that $2 million, in order for us to make the 38,462 a week, that means that we needed 26 homeowners if we were averaging $1,500. So here's what you have to ask yourself. Do you have the products, marketing, operations, automation, agency processes, and staff to generate the needed numbers? Because I can give you the processes all day long, what you need to do. But if you don't have marketing, automation, agency processes, and staff to help you, whether that's outsourced or whether that's in-house, you're not going to reach those numbers. And last little bit of talk, and then I'm going to get into the task. What do good athletes and good insurance agents have in common? Well, one, they're always working on improving their game. They spend time and money to get better. They're coachable, and they seek out good coaches and mentors. They are disciplined and will follow a good plan when presented with one. They don't skim over information from their coaches. They study it. I tell you, one of the most irritating things for me as a mentor is when I send someone an email or send someone a message or send someone a document, or even in the video library, that I'll say, did you go into the video library? Did you look at this? And they'll go, yeah, I looked at it. And then I start asking them questions, and they know nothing about that document or nothing about that process. And then they say, well, I looked at it. I skimmed over it. If you're a skimmer, you're never going to be a successful insurance agent. Okay, and successful insurance agents don't skim, they study. So make sure you understand that. Something to think about. How quickly an athlete learns a new movement or drill allows them to advance beyond their peers. Athletes that can't or won't learn or can't or won't comprehend what they're being taught will always be behind the quick learners, and they'll always be behind their peers. So you have to be honest with yourself. If you're not a quick learner, and that doesn't mean that you're dumb. You may be one of those people, you're not a quick learner because you don't try to be a quick learner. You don't put any effort into it. You skim over everything. But if you're one of those people, today is not going to do you any good, because even though I'm going to lay the processes out for you, I'm going to tell you how it all works, you're not going to take it in and you're not going to do anything with it. And I'm not being negative. I'm just being honest. You have to put the effort in. All right, let me read my disclaimer. Dr. Billy Williams is sharing his knowledge, wisdom, expertise, and experience in this ebook and in this webinar. The disclaimer wording below applies to both Dr. Williams and Inspire Nation Business Mentoring. Inspire Nation Business Mentoring is a mentoring company, not a legal firm. We can discuss generalities and recommendations for using Inspire Nation Business Mentoring processes in ways that are consistent with our understanding of the law. Our training is not a substitute for you obtaining competent, specific legal advice on any of the subjects covered in the training, scripting, and implementation of process recommendations and suggestions. In some cases, there may be federal, state, or local laws, as well as specific carrier guidelines that may alter, impact, enhance, or supersede the way Inspire Nation teaches and recommends a process. Use our recommendations at your own risk. Again, specific legal advice should be sought to ensure compliance prior to utilizing our recommendations and suggestions. First, I'm going to start with, for our actual members. Guys, if you haven't been in the video library lately, you're missing out on some stuff. So I'm going to go into the video library. And inside the video library, we have a calendar called an ICS calendar, or it's a task calendar. And what you do is the first 21 of the tasks that I'm going to discuss today, you can instantly load those into your calendar, whether you're using Outlook, Google Calendar, iCal, whatever you're using. You can load those tasks into your calendar and set it up so that it automatically reminds you. Now, the way the tasks are set up, I call them daily, but it's not really daily. It depends on when you do a task. Once you complete a task, then you move on to the next task. So if you're the kind you can complete 3 or 4 tasks in a day and you can do it effectively, do that. If you're the kind that you complete 1 task a week, do that. We start our task here. Let's click on this task right here. Number 1 is find your niche. It gives you the detailed explanation. It gives you what you need to know about it, and then it has a copy to my calendar. Now you can do this all at one time, just by simply clicking on the Google Calendar. It's an ICS and it will load into your calendar. This is so important. I cannot stress how important it is that you actually put things on a schedule. Okay, if you don't have them scheduled, it's not going to work. I don't care who you are, what you do. It's always who, what, when. Who's going to do it? What are they going to do? And when are they going to do it? And as you can see, I've got the task all set up for you here. So let's say you have a task number 5, have a mobile optimized website, and we tell you where to go. You go to mobitest.com, all that. So again, like I said, for our members, you do that. For those of you that are going to order the workbook today, because this is the pre-order for the workbook, you'll have this as well. So when you get the workbook, as you can see on the very front page of the workbook here, there we go. You'll click on the link and it will download the task that we're going to discuss today into your calendar, which will make life a lot easier for you. Let's get started. Task number 1, you have to find your niche. You must decide which insurance products you sell are going to get the majority of your time and resources. You cannot be a jack of all trades. So when we walk into an agency, that's one of the first things we do is we say, what is your niche? Why are you the agency that you are? And a lot of agencies are not good at they're not good at what they are trying to be, because they really should be something else. Okay, and so you have to find your niche. Your niche and products are not going to be the only thing you sell in the agency, but they will be your opening conversation. So if you want to be a homeowner's agency, be a homeowner's agency. You want to be an auto agency, be an auto agency. But even if you sell common products like auto and home, you still need to identify a target a niche. Your niche will become your brand, and it will make it easier for people to identify and tell others what you specialize in doing, which makes your referrals better. So your niche could be insuring young drivers, or providing insurance to first-time home buyers, or insuring union electricians, or whatever you choose. But you can't base everything on, I sell auto and home insurance. I sell auto, home, and life. I sell auto, home, and life. Are you kidding me? No, you have to break it down to a niche. And that's hard for some agencies, but you must do that if you're ever expected to grow to a $10 million agency. Specialists make more money than generalists. Heart surgeons make more money than general practitioners. And it's because you're a specialist. You have to become a specialist. Brand yourself. Identify a niche, regardless of what you do. Task number 2, set up your production goals by product, daily, weekly, monthly, and annual goal. When I said earlier, you got to do 38,000, 462, and you got to do all that stuff. So let's say you want to make a bonus, and your bonus requires that you sell 15,000 cars. I'm just making up a number, 15,000 cars over the next year. Guys, you've got to break that down to the week. One of the worst plans you can have is have a monthly plan. You must have a weekly plan. It's almost like driving a car, and you're driving that car at 100 miles an hour, and you start swerving and getting off course and do all that, and you wait until you're about to hit a tree before you decide to make a correction. That's what it's like when you make monthly goals for your staff, monthly goals for your agency. You need to break it down by the week. So when we walk into an agency, first thing we do is identify a niche. Second thing we do, we start breaking those goals down to the weekly level. That way I can manage things better and I don't get off track to the point that I can't get them back on track. And for our members, you can always download our production forecast checklist, because the second thing is, or the 2A, it's not 2, it's 2A, you have to do a production meeting. I know a lot of agencies don't do meetings, but you need to do a production meeting. What's a production meeting? It's a meeting where you sit down with each individual in your agency. Now, if you're 13, 14, 20 strong, then you might do it as a group. But you're looking for several things. One, who are the hot prospects? These are prospects that are likely to close within the next 72 hours. You want an idea of who's working on what. What product is likely to close, and what was the lead source. Guys, if you don't know your lead sources, then you can't replicate those leads. So you have to know the lead sources. When will the hot prospects be contacted? I know this sounds juvenile and you're going, Billy, are you kidding me? This is what you guys do when you walk into an agency? Yes, it is. Because a lot of times the staff has never thought about this. The sales team has never thought about this. The management has never thought about this. They've never actually looked at their business and said, what does my business look like today? What's a snapshot of my business right now? So I want to know what lead sources you have, and I want to know what products you're selling. When will that hot prospect be contacted? Oh, Billy, are you kidding me? Oh my God, this is micromanaging you. Guys, I'm only asking you to do this once or twice. I'm not saying this has to be your everyday life. I'm saying you need to get a grip. You need to have a snapshot of where your agency is. So right now, if you've got 5 people in your agency, you need to stop the boat and go, hey, who are you working? When are they closing? What products are they selling? When are you going to contact them? How are you going to contact them? Do you know how many agencies we run into that don't use email, that don't use text messaging, that are still calling old landline numbers? And it's because, again, they've never taken a snapshot of their business to see, how do we even communicate with our customers? And I've been in agencies where they go, oh, I text them. You text them what? I text them on my cell phone. Not the agency's text message program, but they text them through their cell phone, which means if they ever leave your agency, that customer is going with them, okay? Because that's the communication. That's the relationship. So I want to know, how are you communicating with these customers? I also want to know what prospecting processes is that staff member working. And I want to know, are there any additional training? Are there any additional questions that that staff member needs in order to get things done? You know what this is going to reveal to you if you do this? It's going to tell you what your staff will not tell you. It's going to reveal the problems that they have, because when they say, well, who are you prospecting? What are you prospecting next? And you go, you know, I don't really have anything. I'm just kind of waiting on the phone to ring. And are you kidding me? We got all these X dates out here. We got all these campaigns I'm paying for. We got all these things that I'm doing. We have all these telemarketing leads and internet leads and all this other stuff that I'm doing. You're not establishing business referral partners. You're not doing anything but aggressively waiting on the phone to ring. But that's my fault, because I'm the agency leader. And if I don't manage my team will manage themselves. That's number 2A. Let's kind of go back over real quick. First thing we do, we make sure that you understand your niche. Second thing we do, we make sure that you set weekly goals. Third thing that we do, we make sure that we do a production forecast meeting, okay? A production forecast meeting. And when you buy the workbook, you'll see that we got these are active links, what you're looking at here. And so it'll say, click here to download a production forecast checklist, and it'll actually open up to an actual checklist that you'll be able to download. Task number 3, set up your password manager. Why? 60% of the things that should happen in an agency don't happen in a timely manner because of logon and password issues. I can't tell you how many times I will ask someone to go into the video library, or ask someone to log on to a site or log on to a program or a tool, and literally in a 1 hour web meeting, I'll spend 45 minutes just trying to get them to log on. So that's why when we walk into an agency, one of the first things we do is we have you set up a password manager app or tool. And the reason that we do that is not just the fact that I want you to have track of your passwords, but a lot of times it relates back to your technology. Because you can't get into a carrier site, you don't use that carrier. Because you can't get into a program, you don't use that program. Because you don't know the login and password for a tool, you don't use that tool. We use RoboForm. Now there are all kind of password tools that are out there. We like RoboForm because I've used it forever, and they've got this piece of it called RoboForm Everywhere. And RoboForm Everywhere allows me to sync all of the computers in the agency. So if I've got 20 carriers, all of those carriers' logons and passwords are synced among those 20 computers. And as I update in the master computer, it updates in every computer. Again, you can use whatever tool you want, but that's the one that we like. If you don't have a password manager tool that you want to use, at least keep your passwords in an address book. I'm talking about one of those old dollar address books, A through Z, and you put, if it's Acme Insurance, you put them under A. If it's Charter, you put them under C. If it's, Foremost, you put them under F, so that if someone's trying to get into that program or to that site, that book is there. Now, I know a lot of you will put them on a spreadsheet. I'm not a big believer in spreadsheets personally. I don't like that, but I do know there are a lot of you that use it, and that's fine as long as it's a shared drive. Maybe using a Google Doc as a shared drive or using some other thing like that. But you want to make sure that you have it. The worst thing that can happen, the worst thing, is that one person, Susie or Betty or Bob, controls all of the passwords, and then the agent doesn't have a clue where the passwords are. And that happens all the time. I'll walk into an agency, I'll say, hey, we need to do this. Betty, what's the password? Betty's at lunch. Oh, we got to wait for Betty to get back from lunch. She's the only one that has the passwords. Not a smart plan, okay? Not a smart plan. Not a smart plan at all. All right, that's task number 3. Task number 4, you need to buy a custom domain or URL. Even if you have an existing domain right now, if you are Acme Insurance, you need to buy a custom URL that contains keywords that are related to your product or services. Why? Because insurance is too competitive for you to only be found one way. Only one way. So if you are Jenkins Insurance and you're www.jenkinsinsurance and you may be number 1 on Google for Jenkins Insurance, wouldn't it be nice to be number 1 auto insurance in Denver, Colorado, or best auto insurance in Topeka, Kansas? And you can buy that domain and you can set it up to where that points to your website if you want it to, or you can create a little cheap landing page and point it to that. So regardless of what you're doing, regardless of how fashionable you are, regardless of how great your website is, we always make you buy a few custom domains. Now you've got 6 or 7 or 8 different things out there helping to drive traffic to you versus you doing it alone. Task number 5 is you must have a mobile optimized website. So we use a tool called mobitest.com, and you should do this anyway. You should test your website just to make sure that it is mobile optimized, including your new website. If you buy a new you buy a new URL or domain, and you happen to buy a landing page or a website that go with that new URL domain, make sure that it's mobile optimized. Task number 6 is our local SEO checklist. Now, this is extremely important. Extremely important, guys. The top 3 ways that you're probably going to get business is, number 1, people are going to find you on a search, or a local search, whether they're looking for insurance or looking for homeowners or whatever. They're probably going to find you on a search. Number 2, you're probably going to get referrals from your customers and from referral partners that are out there. And number 3, you're going to have to do some kind of outbound marketing, whether it's telemarketing, email, door hanging, mailing, something like that. So if we keep things at their simplest level, your local SEO is probably the foundation of everything that your marketing is built on. So what we've done is we've put together a local SEO checklist with step-by-step instructions and pictures and things like that. So when you order the workbook, you'll be able to click on there and download the SEO check. So we're on task number 7. We've walked in your agency. We made you sit down and do a production meeting, which you didn't want to do. We made you look at your weekly goals, which you didn't want to do. We made you start looking at buying custom domains and driving those to either your site or to other sites, which you may not have wanted to do. We looked at local SEO, which you may not have wanted to do. After all that, I'm going to have you order new business cards. Why? Because you're rebranding yourself. Those same business cards that you've had for 10 years don't brand, or they don't say what you're saying today. They're not who you are today. Because guess what? If you found your niche, maybe you do sell to young drivers. That needs to be on your business card. Maybe your niche is we sell to first-time home buyers. We specialize in first-time home buyers. Or maybe your niche is, we specialize in the Aspen area of Colorado. If that's your niche, that should be on your business card. So your business card should focus on your niche, your products, and your service. We also want to make sure that your phone number is now text message capable. Text messaging is a major part of growing your business now. So your old phone number, unless you're up to date, probably isn't text message capable, which means you can have your old number on there, but you also need your new Google Voice number if you're using that for text messaging, or whatever number you decide you want to use for text messaging. It needs to be there. Okay, the back of your card. The back of your card should give more information about you, your niche, what's special about your agency. Most people don't put anything on the back of their cards. So that's why one of the tasks that we do once we kind of got your local SEO set up and we got your niche and we got all that is we have you order new business cards. Okay, now you're giving out things that actually relay who you are, not who you were. Okay. Task number 8, you need to set up or verify your automated email templates, tools, and programs. Guys, this is a major problem that I run into in an agency. Email, just like I said, local SEO is the foundation of your online marketing. Email is the foundation of your agency communication. And if it's not, it should be. So your email program needs to be able to store email templates. And I don't care if you're using an Outlook program or using Google Docs or using, whatever you're using, whether your agency management tool has it, you need to have the ability to store email templates. Those email templates should have merge fields. Merge fields are, it should fill in the customer's first name, or it should fill in your address, or it should fill in your default signature. It should be able to send one or more emails based on triggers, such as birthdays, policy renewals, new customer signups. If that's not happening and you're relying on that manually, you're setting your agency up for failure, okay? You're setting your agency up for failure. So let's go back to the beginning, and I brought up the fact that if there's no repercussion for your staff not doing what you need them to do, like you didn't adjust their pay, and you guys that jumped on later, I talked about pay and how you really need to adjust your compensation so that if they're not doing what you need them to do, you have a variable amount in there that you're paying them that you can remove because they're not doing what you need them to do. It's the same thing here. If your staff is not doing what you need them to do, why are you relying on them to manually do important things? So you need to make sure that your email tool is set up so that it's based on triggers. Insurance is all about triggers. Let's get that on the table right now. I don't care how good of a conversationalist you are. I don't care how pretty your office is. I don't care how good your billboard looks. That person is not interested in talking to you until insurance becomes important. And insurance only becomes important about 60 days, a lot of people 30 days, but about 60 days prior to renewal, or if there's some new change in their situation. Maybe they had a baby, maybe they graduated, maybe they bought a new car, something happened. There's always a trigger that makes insurance interesting or makes insurance necessary to discuss. If you don't take advantage of those triggers, you're missing out. If you think I can just telemarket, I'm just going to go buy a list of 10,000 people, and I'm going to hire a telemarketing company to call those 10,000 people, and I'm going to cross my fingers and hope that they can convince somebody to talk to me about insurance. You're throwing away money. Now, if you went and bought an X date, which we'll talk about here in a little bit, if you went and bought an X date list of people who are coming up for renewal on their homeowners, and you start calling them 30 to 45 days out or 60 days out, now you're in a market, now you're in an area of marketing where it makes sense because there's a trigger. But here's the problem. Unless your agency is disciplined, you may not even get to that. You may buy the list, but no one ever calls it. You may have the list, but never actually set it up. So that's why it's so important that you automate as many of these processes as possible. Automation is the key. And email should be the foundation of your automation. So we talk about automated email templates and workflows, and we talk about what your tool should have. It should be able to store email templates. You should have merge capabilities. It should be able to send one or more emails based on triggers such as birthdays, policy renewals, or new customer signups. And you should be able to easily schedule email workflows. Maybe it's a new customer process and they get 6 different emails. I shouldn't have to go in and manually schedule 6 different emails. I should be able to click on one button and it automatically send out the 6 different emails at the time period that I've already selected. You also need very specific emails. You need specific emails for your new customer welcome email. You need payment confirmation, endorsement confirmation, claims follow-up, policy renewal appointment, quote follow-up, emergency contact, monoline customer email, rate increase email, testimonial request email, and of course there's more. For our active members, you can click here and right when you get the book, because for our active members, when you get the book, just click there and you can modify and use our email and letter templates from the video and document library. And you active members, you know we got all of those there. Well, I also know that a lot of times you may not click into the video library, so by having the book, at least you can click right there. For our non-members, first of all, you need to join. Okay, so you'll have access to all this. But if you're not, I can't give you all of these. I cannot give you all of these templates. You're going to have to modify these templates. I can tell you which ones you need, though. Again, these top 10 that I listed are the ones that we make sure when we walk in an agency, these 10 templates are in place and they're automated. Guys, there are plenty of tools that an insurance agency can use to send emails. So before you go buy something, before you go spend a bunch of money on something, why don't you check your own email program? Why don't you check the functionality of your own technology and make sure that you can or cannot do what I'm asking you to do? A lot of agents think throwing money at a problem solves the problem. It doesn't. Sometimes you have to throw effort. Sometimes you have to throw time. Sometimes you have to throw energy into the problem before you can solve the problem. So like I said, we strongly suggest you try to use the functionality of your current agency management system or even Outlook before you buy a new email program. Okay? Load the email templates into your email system. Make sure it works the way that you want. However, if your tool is not working for you, there are tools that we recommend. One is our Data and Marketing Supercenter. You guys can go out to inspirenation.org and look at our Data and Marketing Supercenter. I built it to work the Inspire Nation processes. That's why it was made, to work the Inspire Nation processes, including emailing and text messaging and all that good stuff, okay? But there are also online or third-party tools like MailChimp that you can use. MailChimp allows you to send out 2,000 emails for free, I think, per month or something like that. But it's a great tool as well. The key, though, like I would tell you, try your own technology first. All right. Next thing you need to do is you need to sign up for an e-signature tool. If you're not using e-signature, shame, shame, shame on you. You need to use e-signature. And the reason why is because there are 3 things that are important to customers. 1, the ease of doing business. 2, price for the protection that they're buying. And 3, how quickly and effectively you can help them when they have a problem. E-signatures address 2 of the 3 things that I just mentioned above. Ease of doing business. Guys, that's what's destroying personal lines right now, is agents are still in the old school way of doing business where I got to call you, I got to talk to you for 45 minutes. I still may have to come in and sign some paperwork, and that's too hard when I can go online. That's why Geico is kicking the regular agent's butt, because Geico makes it simple. It makes it the ease of doing business simple. Guess what? We've got the tools and technology to do that as well. We've got the marketing that can do that as well. We're local, so we can use local SEO to do that as well. But e-signatures make it a lot simpler for everyone. So again, task number 9 for us is we're going to have that agency sign up for an e-signature tool. Now notice we're 9 tasks in, and what have we done? We're laying the foundation to grow the agency. See, a lot of agencies don't have a foundation. They think I'll just buy a new list. I'm going to make Susie telemarket an extra hour per week. I'm going to make Dave send out more of these postcards. But you don't have a foundation. So even when these things do work a little bit, they're getting lost in the shuffle because the foundation is broken. So if you notice, the first 9 tasks that we talk about are foundational tasks. Okay. Number 10, now we're going to start marketing a little bit. We got a foundation, so now we're going to start marketing. We're going to send current monoline customers an email requesting a policy review. Why current monoline customers? Because those are customers that are more likely to close. I mean, I've already sold you one thing, which means you should listen to me for other things. We're going to start with low-hanging fruit. Monoline customers are low-hanging fruit. The purpose of the monoline customer email is to point out the weaknesses of not having all of the discounts that the customer is qualified to receive, and to schedule a short phone conversation, or maybe you want a web meeting conversation if you're using that technology, with the agency. So that's our first marketing piece. Now we're 10 tasks in. Understand, for some agencies, we can walk in and we can finish those first 9 tasks in 2 days. For some of those agencies, they're so broken, it may take us 2 weeks to get those first 9 tasks in place. But I'm not going to start sending out monoline customer email requests and start buying lists and start doing all this other stuff until I know that my foundation is strong. Okay.
This is the abridged and edited version of the webinar. We spent another hour going over the first 21 tasks. Here's what I'll tell you. If you guys would like the first 21 tasks and you want to load them into your computer on the actual video that you'll have either on YouTube or on our website, we'll actually put a link right there. And we're talking the first 21 tasks that we walk through when we go into an agency. You can load those 21 tasks right into your computer, right to your desktop or your mobile device with instructions, and have that. So guys, 2 things. 1, order the workbook. 2, download our ICS calendar and load it right into your desktop so that you can get the first 21 tasks that we go through when we walk into an agency, and we take them on their path to building a $10 million agency. This is Billy Williams with Inspire Nation Business Mentoring. Thank you so much for your time today.